Hey everyone, welcome back to your channel's name. Today we're diving into an exciting gardening topic for beginners: how to grow super yielding tomatoes. Whether you have a big backyard, a small balcony, or even just a sunny windowsill, growing tomatoes can be a rewarding and surprisingly easy experience. Let's get started on what you need to know to grow tomatoes that produce an impressive harvest. First, let's talk about tomato varieties. For beginners looking for high yields, I'd recommend cherry tomatoes or plum tomatoes. These types tend to grow faster, are generally more disease-resistant, and produce a lot of fruit. Look for varieties like Sweet 100, Roma, or Sun Gold. They're not only delicious but are also known for their productivity. Now, should you start with seeds or seedlings? If you're new to gardening, I suggest starting with seedlings from a garden center. They're easier to handle and save you 6 to 8 weeks of growing time. However, if you want the full experience and to try different varieties, go ahead and start from seeds indoors about 6 to 8 weeks before the last frost date in your area. Tomatoes love rich, well-draining soil. Mix in plenty of organic compost or aged manure to make the soil nutrient-rich. Tomatoes are heavy feeders, which means they need lots of nutrients to produce a high yield. Also, add a little bit of bone meal for calcium, which helps prevent blossom end rot. When planting, dig a hole deep enough to bury the plant up to its first set of leaves. Yes, tomatoes can be planted deep because they grow roots along their stem, making them stronger and better at absorbing water and nutrients. Space each plant about 18 to 24 inches apart if you're planting in the ground. If using containers, choose one that's at least 5 gallons for each plant. Tomatoes need consistent watering, especially during their flowering and fruiting stages. The rule is, water deeply, but less frequently. This encourages the roots to grow deep, making the plants more resilient. Water in the early morning, and make sure to water the base, not the leaves, to avoid fungal diseases. As your tomatoes grow, they'll need support. You can use stakes, cages, or even a trellis. Supporting the plant keeps the fruit off the ground, reduces disease, and makes harvesting easier. For beginners, I recommend using tomato cages since they're easy to set up and provide sturdy support. To grow super yielding tomatoes, feed your plants every 2 to 3 weeks with a balanced tomato fertilizer or compost tea. Look for a fertilizer with a higher phosphorus content. That's the middle number on the label, as phosphorus promotes strong root development and fruit production. Avoid over-fertilizing with nitrogen, as this leads to lots of leaves but fewer tomatoes. Pruning is optional but can really help with yield and plant health. Remove the suckers that grow in the crotch between the main stem and branches. These suckers don't produce much fruit and just take up energy. Also, trim the lower leaves as the plant grows taller to improve air circulation and reduce the risk of disease. Tomatoes are prone to pests, like aphids, caterpillars, and whiteflies. Check your plants regularly, and if you see any pests, you can spray them with insecticidal soap or neem oil. Also, consider planting basil or marigolds nearby. They're known as companion plants and naturally repel some pests. Once your tomatoes turn a deep, rich color and are slightly soft to the touch, they're ready to harvest. Pick them regularly to encourage the plant to produce more fruit. If you have a large harvest, pick some tomatoes a little early and let them ripen indoors at room temperature. And that's it. With these simple steps, you'll be on your way to growing super yielding tomatoes in no time. Remember, gardening is all about experimenting and enjoying the process. So don't stress if things aren't perfect the first time around. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more gardening tips, and leave a comment if you have any questions. Happy gardening, and may your tomatoes be bountiful and delicious.